Joey.
Hey, Jesse's tired, but this is a derailed that's going to start off on a little bit more of a somber note.
Yeah, somebody
It's been a couple
died.
days. Yeah, it's been a couple days since the news broke, but he's been dead for over a week. It's Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and Doctor Slump and Sandland and Blue Dragon, um,
You
and
know, we
illustrator of many video games.
it's interesting because anime and manga are big parts of our lives. We haven't actually talked about it very much on this channel.
It's true. That is true. I mean, a big thing like and even overarching our own personal lives that it's impacted, recognizing like obviously we have our inception ones like Akira, which helped popularize it with the adults, but like the kid community, Pokemon might not have had as much traction if Dragon Ball wasn't like carrying the load with it. Digimon might not have been interesting at all and would have died if Dragon Ball wasn't along with it to like normalize enjoying something like that for a youth uh, like us at that time.
So
Um,
this is weird because I'm going to talk about the first time I saw Dragon Ball Z. First time I
yeah,
saw Dragon Ball Z, I was like a little kid, like really
right.
little. I just passively saw like an episode, right? And now, as a little kid, I even as a little kid, I loved violent things. I loved excessively violent things, but I always avoided watching like adult shows because I found them boring because a lot of them are
Right,
melodramatic and stuff, and I never
right.
liked the melodrama. So I mostly stuck to cartoons, but like cartoons, at the time were never very cool or interesting like that either. So then I saw this cartoon where I remember the first episode I saw was Cell eating people, like just the draining people. I was like, rad. That's
See,
fucking
see
awesome.
that Cell is a horror villain. Like, let's be
I
clear.
know.
First form Cell was a horror villain. Um,
I think maybe that says a lot about my
well,
mentality as
no,
a
it's
kid.
well, I
that
mean, that's a really good like start to the series too. I'll be real. The Cell games was one of the last times it was really, really good.
And I also
Controversial for
remember
some
the
people.
scene where he like got Pickle's arm and Pickle rips it off. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't
Um,
know exactly what age. I think I
yeah,
was like 7 or 8. But like, I guess for
yeah.
me, who a child who liked action and violence, but wasn't really getting it from other sources that were like either the sources were too adult or not adult enough. The Dragon Ball Z's violence was like right where I wanted it to be.
Right. I mean, so I actually had three separate, like, small inceptions into the world before I like dove in, right?
Yeah, and I
Because
I
I
know after that I would see it like on occasionally. I would watch an episode, but I think I never really realized when it was on or when I could watch it. I just would
see,
occasionally see it.
I'm completely the opposite. So I saw it three separate occasions, and then I started watching it on Toonami because it was on Toonami after school every day. Um, and I'm the first time I had seen it, it's one of these two segments. It
See,
was either
I
an
didn't
episode
really
of
real.
OG Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I
Or
watched a
you,
couple episodes of OG Dragon Ball before I really got into the series too.
so I saw one episode of OG Dragon Ball, and it was when they were fighting the Red Ribbon Skull Robot underneath in the caves with
Oh yeah.
General Blue. That was the one that I had incepted with on Dragon Ball. That whetted my appetite on the comedy action that was known as Dragon Ball. My first episode of Dragon Ball Z was actually I believe it was Piccolo's sacrifice in the fight with Nappa,
Oh yeah.
and that was actually a really good one to get incepted on. And then my third one, I had grabbed a video from the library back when you could rent videos from your local library, and it was Goku transforming into a Super Saiyan on Namek. Those were my first three episodes of Dragon Ball. And after the this transformation into Super Saiyan, I was hooked, man. Like I was hooked. And I started watching it after school every day, to the chagrin of my parents, who didn't enjoy the violent tendencies because they had the misconception that violence in animation makes a kid violent in the future. Not true. But the big thing to note here is when I was struggling with, like, I had a hard day, or I didn't know how to comprehend something, or I had too much emotion pent up inside of me. Um, Goku would always attack his problems.
Oh yeah.
And, sometimes he'd fail. And that's a big thing to note here. Sometimes Goku fails. And that makes him human, but it also makes him relatable. And you can see him as a kid grow up. You can see his kid grow up. Gohan doesn't want to do something, but is willing to do it. And you get to see these struggles through these characters' eyes. And I mean, that was kind of the life that this artist brought to me when when he was alive. And I mean, the big thing to note here is it wasn't even just Dragon Ball he did this in.
Well,
Akira Toriyama's
yeah, and one
fingerprints on a bunch of things.
as I wanted to gonna mention, one of the things I did like as a kid a lot more because I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z like hardcore until like I was an actual teenager. One thing I
Right.
did like was a lot was some of the old Dragon Quest games, like
Yeah.
spin-offs and stuff I played. And I didn't really connect it at the time, but I always liked the designs of the monsters. That's one of the best parts of Dragon
Oh
Quest
yeah.
series. And that was Toriyama who did that.
Akira Toriyama is dictated as being overtly simplistic yet unique. That is his art style in a nutshell. Is you can attempt to replicate it, but you can never truly
I
replicate
think
it.
it's
Even
interesting to call it simplistic because
it
like
is. The line
I
work
feel like
is simple.
I feel like at least part of that is because it is like such a like popular thing that's weirdly like more normalized than it would be otherwise. I think that honestly makes it seem even more simple. But like if you look at some of them, there are some pretty cool like designs that are like beyond what even just like a simple that I think simple
Well,
doesn't do justice.
let me clarify. Right, if you look at Goku as opposed to Yugi Moto, one of them is more designed.
Yeah.
It's Yugi, and that's both a good and a bad. It's good because the artist who drew Yugi is more dynamic in his art style, which means it benefits from him doing that. Akira Toriyama doesn't need that, and the big thing is when he does, he makes it a project. That's why Broly was there for a movie in that style.
But I
Is he?
mean,
It was a project. So
but I
that's
mean,
his flavor.
I guess if you put him next to somebody like Yugi, but if you were to take Goku and put him next to like a normal high school student in anime, Goku still looks more elaborate and defined than them. So
But it's the line work
it
though,
is the
because
line
like
work.
the hair is more designed in a majority of those students. The line work is more consistently on point in those students. The big thing to note here is Akira Toriyama does a lot of simplistic moves for his style of animation.
Well, I think the best way to put this is to look at like
Yeah.
base form Frieza. Base form
Oh yeah.
Frieza is elaborate design put together by simple shapes. Like
Yeah.
if you
No,
look
I
at
mean it's
Frieza, he's like
literally.
round head, round body, coned horns. It's like very simple shapes, but put together they make an elaborate design. I think that's where Akira Toriyama's art style really comes in. He has very simple shapes
Mhm.
put together into a more better design.
See, I get what you're trying to say. I think that Toyotaro has already emulated that one, but he can't truly emulate a young Goku, let's say. He could never truly emulate an Aurelie.
Yeah.
That is Toriyama. He could never emulate Grandpa Gohan. He could never emulate how they draw Master Roshi usually. He could emulate how they draw Broly because Toyotaro did AF.
Well,
For those that don't know what that is, that was a fan made continuation of Dragon Ball GT before Super happened, and it was so well drawn that Toriyama hired the guy who drew it. That's Toyotaro. He's the one who did some of the cells on Super,
yeah.
not the bad ones, mind you. Let me just clarify because there are bad ones on Super. He didn't do those.
So what I'll say about that subject is, well, nobody's ever gonna be perfect when mimicking other people. Unless you're like looking at a design and being like directly like drawing it. If you're just being like, all right, draw Toriyama stuff, your own habits will bleed into that. Nobody could like. It's kind of like
It's true.
voice acting where like you can mimic, but you can never truly be
There are people
someone
that can.
else.
There are people that can. It's just there are certain styles that just can't be. That's the difference here. Is
Yeah,
this is one of those styles that just can't be. And that's the main point of the style is people can draw Broly. People can draw a Super Saiyan Goku. It's not hard. I mean, the entire reason he made Super Saiyan Goku's hair blonde is so he didn't have to color it in. It's easy.
oh yeah,
It's just a trace. The big thing to note here is young Goku and putting him in any type of dynamic poses is a challenge because you still got to keep the
that's
cartoony
why
feel.
they made him. That's why he when he started to make it more action focused, he grew him up to make it
Well,
more. I think that was like distinctly said by him. Like he wanted to make the series a little bit more action towards the end, and he realized that he was having trouble with younger Goku, so he did a
which is
time skip.
and you know what? I don't always disagree with Akira Toriyama on things, but this I do. I think his fight with Jackie Chun is probably one of the greatest drawn anime manga fights of all time.
Well,
Like just all his line work, if you look at it piece by piece, it's one of the greatest drawn anime manga fights of all time. It has the comedy from Dragon Ball in it, inherent. It has that drawing style that melds perfectly with action,
well,
real action.
I think that's a little bit misunderstanding what I meant. I think what he meant was that since he's gonna be doing action more often, he wanted it easier to draw. Not that he can't do it. It's similar to making the hair blonder just so that he can not have to color it in.
I
He
mean,
made Goku
maybe.
bigger so that when he does more action, he can do it easier and thus quicker.
You might be right. I mean, the taller a character is, the more there is to draw. First off,
But it's
but
also easier to like pose them and get them into the positions they need. I think was like a big thing. It's easier to show what they're doing because there is more of them.
we're digressing here. The
Yeah.
point I was getting at is just Akira Toriyama's style is not going to be able to be replicated, and that's fine. Herald it in the annals. Don't try to redo Dragon Ball again with GT, please. Um,
So I mean, like I look at GT, and the best parts of GT are when it's kind of like not mimicking Toriyama, but like doing its own thing with like Baby and stuff. It's like that stuff was cool.
I mildly disagree for a couple of reasons with GT, and I'll expound upon that.
Well,
The way they hand the way well, it's the way they handle their villains. It's not the way that they have their villains. I think that the idea of the Tuffle King being uploaded to a computer and becoming a machine mutant is awesome. I think the name is stupid. Um,
well,
first and
I think a
foremost.
lot of the early GT they were trying to mimic Toriyama's stuff, but like they weren't doing a very good job because they couldn't quite capture it.
Well, it was his kid, so like you'd imagine he would have been able to look over his shoulder once in a while. But the big thing here is if he remembers better than Toriyama does, because Toriyama famously forgets a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, uh, he would have been able to bring some stuff in from the past, and that would have been a perfect time to do it. I mean, you know who would have been good to bring on that journey other than Pan? Where's Upa, the kid who used to hang out with Goku, who was going to train to be stronger? Where's Ader? You know, where's why didn't Oob go with them? Oh my God, why didn't Oob go
Yeah,
with them?
Uba was like a big plot point where it's like, hey, he's this new character for GT
It
specific.
would have made sense for Goku, Oob, and Pan, and then everybody else protects Earth. Fine,
Heck,
but
bring
Goku,
Trunks,
Oob,
make
and
it a
Pan.
force squad, whatever.
No, 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 because I think it was weaker because Trunks was separate from Goten. I also think that they massacred my boy Goten and made him just Yamcha 2.0, and that was indefensible. I think that the way they handled him in Superhero was much better. They just made him a really nice guy. And I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, he's kind of like a middle ground between Gohan and Goku.
yeah.
I can respect that. Um, I think GT, the way they handle their villains, Legic was an awesome new villain that they killed. They didn't even kill him. They just left him on a planet and didn't bring him back, even though he's really cool. He gave off real like Piccolo energy in the Saiyan Saga, and I'm always for that because you don't get many of those. The only other time you get that in the series is Nova Shenron, the golden Shenron, um, during the Shadow Dragon arc, who was also dope, and he's also a fan favorite. Weird, huh?
Oh yeah.
Um, I liked General Metallo. or not General Metallo. Sorry, that's fucking Dragon Ball. Jesus. Uh, I like General Rildo. I think that his concept was really interesting, and the fact that he could become the planet. Uh, Good job, Moro, for stealing that. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't read the Moro arc. Literally jacks the entire plot point. It
Yeah.
becomes one with the planet too. It's an interesting concept, but it's more interesting when the planet is basically a machine planet and you can become one with it because they basically took a non-canon aspect. You've seen some of the Dragon Ball
I mean,
movies, right, Jesse?
isn't that
Like
what
the
happened
Upper.
with Cooler? Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, yeah. I was
I was
gonna say,
literally about to say that. I was like, isn't that what
but
happened with
but they
Cooler?
but they brought it in a more organic way, ironically, if that makes sense.
I
Like that,
mean, that's what
it
they
wasn't
did
just.
with Broly and Super. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, they just made it more organic, and I think that the way they handled General Rildo and the planet was good until they just killed him off and killed the planet off. And I'm like, what a waste! Again, why? Why? Super 17 was stupid, just in general. That was just dumb.
They
Um,
have pieces
Vader's
of
still
decent bits, but it's like, oof.
the big thing for me is if they wanted to find a way to turn 17 against 18 and kill Krillin off again, why? Um, he's already gonna die soon. Um, there's a couple other androids on the planet they could have played around with to make a story arc here, right? Ader exists. He's not dead. He's still an android. Why has nobody done anything with him?
Oh, I know.
Um, Another big thing for me is the Shadow Dragons were handled relatively roughly. The concept itself was great. I want to be clear. The concept of the Shadow Dragons was interesting and great. The fact that they were overused and they got filled up with negative energy because the blowback from the positive wishes that were made, right? That's interesting.
I guess what I want to kind of bring it back to what I was trying to say earlier.
Right.
They were just what they were doing is they were just taking what Toriyama did and doing their own thing with it, and I think that's did a lot better than at the
Like
beginning where they were trying to do what Toriyama did. That's it.
I disagree mainly because of the fact that it became large cuts in sequence after they tried to just remake Dragon Ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it just became cuts in sequence until the next big bad, and that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you an example. In Z, um, during the interquel between the 7 year time skip, they gave us filler, but it was good filler. The Otherworld tournament is famously popular, and PyCon came out of there. But we also
Driving
got to see
cars was
Gohan.
also awesome too.
Yeah, and then we got to see Gohan going to school, like legit just going to school and being a superhero, and things that didn't involve fighting Majin Buu. You know, uh, and Vegeta training his kid and saying he'll take him to the to a playland
I mean, I
and
remember a
random
lot of
things like
Super's
that.
filler being pretty good too.
Some of Super's filler
Some
is
of
good.
Super.
Some of it is needless. Like
I mean, all filler is needless by.
let's clarify needless here because when I say needless, I mean it doesn't add any flavor to the world.
Oh yeah.
And most fillers that are good, like the ones I just mentioned, add flavor to the world. Gohan said he wanted to be a scholar, so showing him going to school makes sense. And it fills in the world. Because is he still just learning at home? Is his mom getting him? I don't know. But that fills in the world. One Piece is ironically a really good space to talk about filler too, because like the entire point of it is adventure. So almost every filler fills in the world.
At least a little bit,
Um,
but there's still some really bad filler. Oof. But
well,
that's
there's no really bad filler in that series. There's just some not great filler.
well, I guess the bad filler in One Piece is more boring. But
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's a major issue with GT is like they just didn't have anything to fill in the gaps, if that makes sense. They just waited till the next big bad came around and then they fought them again. There was nothing really going on between that though. Like Goku didn't go and train Pan. They just said Goku trained more and got stronger. That's it. Uh, Pan didn't train and get any stronger really, which is stupid.
I mean, like if they had like slow, Goku was made into a child. If they had made it so that Goku trained Pan so that she could fill in his shoes for him, that'd be great. But no.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if anybody should have been trained, it should have been Gohan. But
It should have been Oob, actually. Oob was right
Oob
there.
was trained. Oob was trained, right? Okay, and guess what? He shit the bed. Technically, he was deemed to be as strong as Baby Vegeta's second form. Like Majub is as strong as that, which is powerful. That's like just under Super Saiyan 4. So like Oob is stronger than a Super Saiyan 3 at that point. Respect, okay? Respect. But he lost that fight.
Oh well.
I don't know. GT was a big bundle of disappointment. And the big thing with it is I like some of the animation, but I think a lot of it just like for some reason everything was shiny and I don't know why.
This is a weird thing. I'm changing the subject a little bit. Super's still going, isn't it?
Super isn't. It's called Shin in the manga.
Shin.
And it's covering Superhero, which is a year off from End of Z, mind you. So if they want to do GT again, that's their business then, because GT wasn't Toryama, and Toryama only worked on a video special that dealt with like I think it was like 100 something years in the future, and Pan was watching her great great grandson Goku Junior fight Vegeta Junior or some shit, and it was like, yeah, it was 100 years in the future. And he turned Super Saiyan fighting the bear thief on the mountain. I'm like, it's really cute and it's really reminiscent, and it paid homage to the best part of
So
GT, which was
Toriyama
the
wasn't
ending.
working on Shin or Super or whatever.
He's working on it, but he's also letting.
Well, he's not working on it anymore, but
Well, I mean,
that's
he
what
was.
I
He,
guess
as
that's
I said,
the subject I wanted to talk about was more like what happens to his unfinished works. Like
Toyotaro was going to keep going.
yeah,
They already said Toyotaro keeps going. That's why he brought him in to train him.
gotcha.
That was what I was saying before.
And is
Was he was
Toritaro
so
going to do
good.
all of his unfinished work? Because I know he had a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. They
Oh,
were saying.
I mean, he probably will. I mean, the big thing here is Toyotaro has inherited, and he can either sink Atlantis or he can make it a metropolis.
And that's kind of why I want to bring up the whole like copying and stuff. Like, are they copying or are they doing their own thing? Is
One of the
Toritaro going to
things,
do his own thing, or is he going to just try to do what Toriyama did?
I mean, before he probably didn't have full say over what was going on. I don't know though.
Have
But
you This is
I'm up to date on the manga.
Have you watched the newest Miyazaki film, The Boy and the Huron?
Yes.
A lot of that movie is kind of a lot of what the subject I'm talking about is. Like, do you do what the other guy did, who is amazing, or do you do your own thing?
Well, Toyotaro has already brought fan of, but he's also brought in aspects that people love. Now, let me disseminate this. I'm just for the folks listening. I'm going to go into the manga here. So, because I need to, because Toyotaro works mainly on the manga.
I have not gone into the manga yet, though. They said
So
Super was coming back soon, or like a new series was coming back soon. So I was like, "Hey,
they're not gonna bring that back in because they already announced it's gonna be.
Sorry, you cut out there for a sec. What'd you say?
I was saying it's not going to be what was in the manga because everybody's turning into a child in this new series. It's separate.
Wait, are they doing Dragon Ball Z babies?
It looks like it. It's Muppet Babies for Dragon.
Oh my god,
that's I know. I'm kind of. It's cute sounding though, and I'm kind of here for an angry little baby Nazi Vegeta. I am the Prince of all Saiyans. Okay, buddy, you want a lollipop?
Dude,
so
could
I'm
you
gonna
imagine
go
if
into
they
the
stuck Goten and Trunks as the babysitters and they're like, we have to be the adults here?
Oh my god, I kind of want that though. That sounds really dope.
Goten and Trunks.
Really fun.
And then when they all turn Super Saiyan, they're like, okay, we gotta turn into Gotenks, and Gotenks has to be Super Dad here. It's like, what the fuck? But it's Gotenks.
Well, because they are of the, like, as I said, it's a year away, so they're both teenagers now. They're in high school. So, but I digress. I was going to go into the manga to describe what he has done good and what he has done bad. Because the big thing here is there's been a lot of talk about Toyotaro's current run after the Tournament of Power, even somewhat before that. But like, I'll get on that later, and it deals with Goku's character change. Like, you know how Goku. Oh, if you don't know, Goku is depicted as a genius in terms of battle intelligence and training intelligence, to the point where Vegeta trained in the hyperbolic time chamber with Trunks, who has a lot of battle experience, and he trains to unlock Super Saiyan second and third grade, which boost your power by from Super Saiyan to 62.5% your power level and 75% your power level. Super Saiyan 2 does 100%, 100 times your power level.
Yeah.
And this is back when it still mattered barely. Goku realized that that's a waste of fucking energy. And all it does is put a strain on your body, and you can't move as fast. And why the fuck would I do this? So he trained to make the Super Saiyan form natural, like breathing. And because of that, he was able to make it so he could always train in Super Saiyan and make his power grow astronomically,
Yeah.
to the point where he not only overshadowed Vegeta, he eclipsed him. He was over twice as powerful as Vegeta at that.
Goku
And even
understands
though
the
Vegeta
value of
went,
stamina over power.
yeah, oh, and Goku didn't go back in for the rest of it. They left early. They left with 3 months left in their time, and Vegeta went back in for a year and still didn't close the gap.
Well, he went in by himself, which I think was also a big mistake.
It's true, but like a year with two people and then a year by yourself versus 9 months with two people, you get like the discrepancy
Yeah.
here is he's just not as good. And it's because he has some arrogance in him, but he recognizes where he needs to learn.
Well, there's also like a lot of question of like, Goku's received a lot of formal training. He's gotten like the Grandmaster Roshi, he's gotten
And
trained
that's
by
why I think
Grandmaster.
John, yep, yep.
Meanwhile, Vegeta, he's probably started off natural and probably at best got
No,
Frieza
no, no, no,
soldier
no, 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 no,
training.
no, no, no. Let me actually divulge, because Vegeta's had formal training. He
Did
was a
he?
royal, so of course, yeah, he was a royal. He had formal training. He had formal training under the supervision of his father, who was king. So he had solid combat training. The thing is, he never had key control training. He never had like true key control training.
I mean, it
He
was
never
probably
had.
cut short is the problem.
Let me. I'm gonna go back to Dragon Ball here, because this actually ties into that, because Goku couldn't actually not like utilize ki outside of the Kamehameha wave, while because he could use the Kamehameha wave, but he couldn't use ki. He didn't understand it, which is sounds counterintuitive, but when I say it, it'll make sense.
Yeah.
So channeling your ki is different than throwing your ki. So Vegeta could throw his ki, but like Goku goes back in time through a door because Mr. Popo Deus Ex Machina on the lookout. Back in Dragon Ball, magic happened a lot more, and talks to Roshi's master Mutaito, and learns how to channel his ki, and it's refined by Kami. So like it took probably one of the greatest martial arts minds next to Roshi and Kami to train Goku on how to channel his ki to the level he did, even by the end of Dragon Ball.
So yeah, Goku had better training, and
He
that
had
led to a better
far
base for,
superior training.
and that led
But
to like when it becomes time to think of new ways to get stronger. He has more like experience finding new ways to get stronger to
yep,
tap into.
more versatile combat situations. I agree, and that's why I think the Ultra form is actually ingenious, and the way they treated it was great when it first came out. I don't like if it becomes a Deus Ex Machina. I think it's really cool if they that they showcase. Look at all these teachers you had. Every piece of them has stuck with you. And I'm like, about fucking time we make it all pay dividends. But the issue with Goku and Super is they make him overtly arrogant. They make him nonsensically arrogant almost.
Oh yeah, he's
And
basically
you
kind
see,
of become Vegeta.
but you see glimpses of him being a good teacher. The Goku I wished I would have seen throughout Super was the Goku who fought with Khalifa and KO in the Tournament of Power, and basically showed them, okay, I want to see how fast, how good you are.
They really should
All
have
right,
brought
my
Oob.
first one.
We need Oob. We need a
Oh,
good
Oob is
Oob
canon.
story. I know
Hold
he
on,
is.
Oob is yeah, no, they brought him back. still young because the last time they showcased him was in the. We have to wait a year until the end of Z until he shows up because that's in Dragon Ball Z, so it's canon. They have to leave it in. They can't bring him in until then.
Well,
They wrote themselves into a point
I
into a
just
pit
find
with
it
that.
kind of weird because I was watching Dragon Ball Superhero. Piccolo's training Pam, and don't get me wrong, Piccolo's a great teacher, but I'm like, why not Goku? like,
Well,
I know it's
Goku.
because he
So,
selfishly wants to train himself, but it's like,
well, no.
at least to a certain
So
extent.
a big thing that he's doing right now is he's damage controlling with Broly. Like
That's
they
true.
actually gave a good reason is training Broly's anger is best for everybody.
Training
Like
Broly's probably more important.
oh like teaching him because like as they said when they went there the movie, like you're getting really good at controlling your anger. If Broly could not control his anger, it took an ultra instinct level character to deal with him.
And I
And even
suppose
then he
since
kept
they're
getting stronger.
teaching Pam the basics, Pickle can do it, but probably just as well as Goku at that point, since it's
Oh,
just
and
the basics.
the big thing to note here is Piccolo, even though Goku is a genius in combat, Piccolo is probably the closest to his match in terms of combat intelligence. Um, all of his moves tell it, right?
Yeah.
Like what do his moves do? Well, they pull a feint and they surround you, and then they converge upon your position.
Well, even
Okay, what's another
special
one?
build dream. Oh my god, special beam cannon.
Special Build Dream.
Yeah, I was like combining all the words into one. Special beam cannon. Like if you look at that, he concentrates all of his energy, and then he creates like a second beam to help drill through and create an opening
Yup.
for the bigger beam to go
And
right through someone.
it's
It's a
it's the only beam attack like that's specialized that could deal like Gamma Burst Flash is Vegeta's strongest beam attack right now. Let me be clear. That one cannot compete with Special Beam Cannon or Neo Tri-Beam in terms of the output of energy. And if those were taught to any of the characters in the series, they would have one of the strongest aces up the hole next to a Spirit Bomb.
I mean, the
Because
Kianza,
Special Beam Cannon,
oh my god, Destructo Disc. I can't say these words. I'm too tired, Joey. The
yeah,
Destructo
it's fine.
Disc, it's not a
Yeah.
beam, but like it's such a refined, perfect like attack that
Well,
it can punch
that
way
one
above its weight class.
that one got nerfed though. The problem is you can't overcharge it as much as the other two. So like the
True.
Special Beam Cannon is something that was able to affect Cell while the Kienzon could not, for
Listen,
example.
all Krillin has to do is figure out how to stack like 3 Kianzons on top of each other to make like a triple one, a
Nah,
triple
that
stack
wouldn't matter.
repeats.
Like,
I
well,
know.
Goku did that. Goku did that. He
Oh,
did
did he?
the hexadecimal Kenzon. He
When did he
basically
do
used
that?
it
I don't
like he
remember that.
threw one at he TOP.
Huh.
He threw one out and it split into like 20. And it cut a boulder into pieces to get a guy eliminated.
Hmm.
But yeah, no. I mean, the tri beam and the special beam cannon. Special beam cannon could be charged indefinitely. Piccolo said it, which means that's theoretically just as powerful as a spirit bomb,
I mean,
which is really scary.
in Superhero, when they were like deciding which attack to kill Cell with, Gohan took the special beam cannon, partially in honor of Piccolo, but I think in general, if you're just like plain charging something, the special beam cannon is probably the best option.
What's true. I mean, the Masenko would have done the job too, but it wouldn't have done the job.
As
Charge
well.
longer, and he would have had to charge it longer. That's
And the
the
spear
big thing.
bomb would have never worked,
Especially,
so
oh, none of them know
spear
it,
bomb never works.
dude. Why
Sorry, the
doesn't
joke is
Gohan
that
know the spirit bomb?
the spirit bomb never works.
Oh, it does. It killed Shenron, and it killed Boo. It worked twice.
It worked twice.
2 out of 4 times is a 50% win rate. That's fine.
50% win rate.
Oh wait, wait,
Meanwhile,
wait,
the
wait, wait.
first time Piccolo used the special beam cannon, it killed 2 people, giving a
Wait,
200% win rate.
Dr. Wheelo.
Okay, those aren't canon. They don't count.
Oh, I mean, technically GT isn't canon either.
so,
So,
I don't know.
so it's 33%.
I'm
But
just
like
saying,
that's not.
Piccolo's special beam cannon, the first time it used, had a 200% win rate. So
Let's be honest here and say none of these moves have a great kill rate. It's just some don't get used very much.
I'm just saying, some of Goku's special Kamehameha waves have been great success that he never uses again.
I mean, that is true. You did not mention that at all, though. Yeah, no. The faint Kamehameha wave that he used against he was high
I was
water.
thinking that exact one. He never uses that again. I'm like, that's a cool move. And
Well, you know
Goku,
why he used it. Well, there's a reason why, and it makes sense. You know why he was able to use that against Frieza?
because Frieza
Because
couldn't,
Frieza couldn't. Yeah, because Frieza couldn't sense energy.
and he was underwater, so he couldn't see him.
Yeah, so like, I'll be real. Frieza was kind of dumb for that. He could have just used a death wave and just thrown it into the water. I don't know why he didn't. Um,
Well, he was touring with Goku. He was just like,
that's
haha.
that's true. That's true. But I digress.
At any
Um,
point, like at the beginning of that fight, Frieza could have just ended Goku and would have ended the series right there, but he didn't because
but
he was fucking around and found
but
out.
I digress. We've gone way off track. I was going to talk about the
Welcome
manga and
to Derailed,
Toyotaro is
Joey.
done good. Yeah, true. So in the manga, we start off with Galactic Patrol. Jacko from Super. You actually get to meet the Galactic Patrol and
Isn't
Goku
they?
and
Aren't
Vegeta
they
and
from a
Shin.
spin-off manga?
Well, the spin-off manga is actually connected to Dragon
Well,
Ball
yeah,
because Jacko hangs out with Bulma's sister
yeah,
because Bulma has a sister.
yeah.
And it also goes into the past and deals with the fact that Bulma was able to create a very powerful gun. I'm like, where the fuck was that during the Saiyan incursion, jerk? But
I'll be
one
honest, I
thing,
could totally see her using that gun and accidentally shooting one of her teammates because that's how Dragon Ball works sometimes.
and that is true. She might have been the reason. Not yeah,
It's too good to be true, which means it's gonna make things worse. That's how Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z
She
works.
she she might have accidentally shot Yamcha. Um,
No, that would have actually solved some problems, honestly. No, I'm joking.
Yamcha gets the rod way too much, man. Like they got to relax with that.
You
They got to chill.
I thought it was a little too far when they're like, Yamcha cheated on someone. I'm like, that's completely against everything he stood for before that.
Well, like he like just making him a piece of shit. Why he worked so hard to not be? That's really
That
antithetical
was
to the
his,
point of his character.
yeah, that was his whole character arc. His
Like
character arc was
why?
to he hates women. Well, he's afraid of women,
Yeah,
except
he's
for the
afraid of him.
one, and yet suddenly he cheats on the one with another woman that he's supposedly
Well,
afraid
the
of. It's like
the one cured his fear of women, and then he became.
that's
Why would
weird.
you just make him? Yeah, it's weird. You know who had a great character arc in Dragon Ball? Tien.
Oh,
What a
Tien.
freaking amazing arc. Man went to people. He actually like crippled, and he said, "You can arrest me. That is fine. Somebody's coming to kill us, and I need to help save us. Give me the Dragon Ball. Beat me to death. That's fine. I apologize for what I did to you." I'm like, wow,
I mean,
heck yeah,
Tien's main like weapon, his tri beam cannon, that sucks away his life force. It is not just powered by
yeah,
ki; it's powered by life force and ki.
it
That's why it's
is.
so powerful. So like his main form of attacking is literally sacrifice himself.
I mean, the reason that they justified being able to use it so much was because he has a
Is because why? Sorry,
so
you
he's
cut out
part of
again.
he has alien physiology. He's an alien. That's why he can do the forearm thing.
Everybody's got. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just,
I mean, Krillin's human, which is weird because he has no nose.
I swear to God,
Yamcha's
he's
human.
gonna be discovered to be some sort of alien. He is
Uh,
short, white, and with a round head, just like all the
what is
aliens.
do you know what you mean, gray?
Great.
But I was gonna say in the super manga in Shin, they meet the Galactic Patrol because there's an angel working for them named Miras. He wants to connect more with the humans. He doesn't want to stay on the sidelines. And an ancient evil, not as ancient as Boo, but like he was a main villain of the, which this ties back into Majin Buu as well, by the way. And
Oh
this
yeah.
is where Toyotaro comes in with good storytelling because he remembers things. Um, Moro is a mage, and his whole ability is taking your power as you attack him. So the more you attack him, the more power he takes. But it's not like absorbing the power while his ports are open. He just takes it upon himself. And magic power is calculated differently than ki. But magic's been gone from Dragon Ball for a long time. The only semblances we see are like Piccolo's clothes beam, and
Clothes
Majin Buu's
beam.
chocolate beam, which well, the chocolate beam is a form of magic,
Yeah.
and those are the only two.
I
Um,
mean, I think a lot of Boo's like regeneration and gum physiology was magic too, but I
I
think
mean, Boo's a primordial, so I would deem it more as a effect because
it,
Boo is the oldest thing in the Dragon Ball universe.
it's
Looking back at it,
it's hard to tell with Boo.
oh
But I
well,
think
like
a
Boo
lot of
is the
Boo's
oldest
like
thing.
weird. I think a lot of what Boo does is like magic. It's probably like it's probably like the Tri Beam Cannon where where a lot of the stuff is fueled by both ki and something else. It's probably both.
What I'm thinking, as I said, is I think it's just primordial energy. As I said,
I
Boo
mean,
is
that
an
would
aspect of
explain
the
why he could scream his way out of the time chamber.
Boo is an aspect of the universe.
Yeah.
So Boo is a primordial, which means he's kind of like what a god of destruction is. Is there should be one in every universe
Which
because
is
he's
that
the personification of
magic
evil.
or is that something else? Like what's
Well, I
going?
mean, we can only deem it as primordial energy.
I guess
He has key, he has magic, but we don't know that
because
that's
like
it.
they very
But
distinctly state that God of Destruction energy is not
it's
just
different.
key, it's something else.
It's not even godly key. Yep, high energy is different. True, agree.
So
Back to what I was saying though. So Moro's escaped. Uh, Vegeta and Goku go to fight him. They get beat to shit. Boo gets beat to shit. Um, he awakens the Grand Supreme Kai's energy that was dormant in him because that's why Fat Boo's fat. And that means he has access to a host of godly ki. And that's enough to beat the piss out of Moro, so he has to escape. Um, Moro then allows a bunch of criminals the Galactic Control had held back to
so
be
Joey,
released.
I know this is weird because you want to explain it, but this is like manga spoilers and stuff. I kind of want to I do want to figure it out myself. I know you started going on this because you had a point about something.
Right, right. So my point here is Toyotaro writes characters trying to bring back in things from the past, like magic,
Yeah.
right? Like characters that were relevant in Z and concepts that were like Boo absorbing the Grand Supreme
I
Kai
mean, one thing I
matters,
have
right?
noticed in Super just in general is just how active that they consider Boo just like constantly. They don't forget
Well,
Boo exists as one of the strongest fighters. They're
I,
constantly
I
talking
should
about it, and they have to write him out sometimes through
right, right.
bullshit, but they're constantly like referencing and being like, yo, this guy's still
I,
here. We remember him.
I should say there are whispers of Toyotaro and Super, like you see it there, but like the manga where it's going now has been much more prevalent. Like
Yeah.
in one arc, they do what I've talked about in a while, which is what happened to all those planets that the Saiyans massacred. Are there any survivors or anything? What happened with that? And that's dealt
I
with.
mean, that's kind of what
And
happened with the baby arc in GT, going back to GT a little
yeah,
bit, where it's like,
yeah.
yo, there are
Although
still
that's
people who
even
aren't
worse.
upset, who are upset with the Saiyans. If they find out that there's still Saiyans kicking around, they might not be.
Well, I mean, the Tuffles shared the planet with the Saiyans. That's even bigger. I actually think that that should be saved for a major, major arc. Because like the Saiyans' home planet, this is a fun fact for people who don't know, was not originally Vegeta.
Yeah, I know
They
that one.
they they were given this planet by Frieza. Well, I know you know. But I talk to other people. I don't think you. I think you're smart.
Well, I mean, in Super,
Um,
they mentioned it when they were talking to the Universe
yeah, yeah.
Six
No, the
Saiyans.
Universe Six
They
Saiyans.
mentioned the planet, and Vegeta's like, "Wait a minute, that was the planet we were on before. It never got destroyed."
So the big thing to note here is they shared that planet, and then they massacred everybody on it, and then they left the planet to conquest the stars uh, early on in their lifespan. So the big thing to note here is Saiyans were always ruthless, but we never got to see the trail of victims. And the big thing about Baby was that could have been where it started. And
Yeah.
that's why that's so big a deal because we painted the whole series around a Saiyan, not a Namekian, not a human, Unfortunately, it would be nice if we could have a representative for each be up top, but no, whatever. Um, but Saiyans. So having the original victim of their people, there's so much emotional weight that is held in that, in my mind, right? As a narrative point, that is something that should be saved for at least a crescendo.
So one thing I do want to like also just like point out is that sometimes you just don't have to, we're talking about a very big thing. Um, a lot of this calling back and just like being awesome could just be in small things. I know in Super, the whole Tournament of Power gave a lot of characters their great moments. Something that
Yes. Except Tien.
Dragon Ball Z has struggled with in the past. Just like
It's true, except Tien.
it's Tien, Roshi. Roshi had some cool moments.
Roshi had a cool moment, but Tien did not.
Okay, that one's fucking hilarious because like Krillin took out like two people and then got taken out in like a suicide attack for like 2.5 people. And then
Oh, yeah.
Tien got took out, and after Krillin got wiped out, Beerus was pissed at Krillin, like you could have done more. But like Tien took out one guy and then got taken out, and Beerus is like, "I'll remember your name because you're awesome." I'm like, "Motherfucker, be consistent." Tien did not do nearly
It wasn't
as well.
even it wasn't even a note to like why. You know what's funny? Tien is stronger than Krillin. Why?
Ugh. It's just like
It was it was even before that when Roshi got taken over, he bodied Tien.
so.
And Roshi's technically weaker than Tien.
Toriyama has on record said he actually doesn't like Tien that much.
I know, and well, he said that about Vegeta too, but he keeps powering up.
I think at least Toriyama warmed up to Vegeta as like a plot point and like did start to like him eventually. I don't think he ever started liking Tien and only kept Tien around because other people
It
liked
sucks. Tien's such a good character.
him. He is awesome.
Yeah, like he had great character progression. The whole point of him being the protege to an assassin who doesn't actually want to kill people. What an awesome progression.
It's
And Chaozu, wow, we're talking about getting the shaft here. Chaozu, poor
oh
guy,
yeah, he's
poor
there
guy.
too.
Like the only guy in their team that can use telekinesis. Like Goku can use telepathy. Sure.
To some degree something other than ki, and it's like well no.
Yeah, just don't use it. Whatever. It's nothing. Just throw rocks.
Dude, imagine if he was on Namek, saw the guy with psychic powers stop time, and he's like, I want to do that. He starts doing
Well,
it.
Jesse, he did fight Guldo. He beat the shit out of him. He bodied him.
Oh, right. When they
Yeah,
showed up on the planet.
Yeah, no, he duped the shit out of him. Which, once again, what a waste of King Kai not to be given everybody the Kai.
Dude, the cow
Well, not
cannon.
everybody could survive it. Well, I mean, maybe not if they were at your 8,000, but
Okay.
luckily they're stronger than the Ginyu Force.
So, two things. First of all, Tien's whole shtick is wasting his life force to get more powerful.
Yeah, why
Second
not
of
add
all,
something to it?
Piccolo's got a crazy physiology and probably wouldn't suffer the side effects as easily.
See, this is one of the biggest headcanons I've ever had. Is Piccolo could throw times 100, like, and if he had that while he had Orange Piccolo, he would have just been able to body perfect.
So I have noticed, especially when he was on the planet, Piccolo seems to want to get stronger using it, do it his own way. He doesn't seem too keen on like learning other people's tricks.
That's untrue. The big thing to note here is he uses his father's moves. That's other people, but he also is willing to use other people's tricks like the Metamoran dance.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I mean, if you're willing to use the Metamoran dance,
you're willing to use anything.
like that thing is ridiculous.
Then again, he's never used it himself. He just learned it so he could teach other people. So
Well, the only reason he didn't do it with Goku is because he's weaker than Goku. Otherwise, he would have stepped up before Vegeta. I guarantee you.
Saying, like, yeah, maybe it would have been a little drop in power, but that physiology boost would have probably more than made up for it. I'm just saying.
No, it wouldn't, because Vegeta was leagues above Piccolo at that.
I guess.
And they would have lost. They probably. I don't. They
That's
probably
true.
Don't know
In a battle of physiologies, I'm sure Boo would have outbeat them.
Yeah.
Boo would have outlasted them easily.
Because like the only reason Cell was able to regenerate how he was is the regeneration.
really brings into
Um,
question of what Piccolo could survive if he was determined.
well, they've they've said what he can survive. So anything that's not his head. So like you can't destroy if you destroy his brain, he's dead.
Yeah.
But
So
like it doesn't need to be to the cell.
so basically, you could decapitate him; he'd be fine.
You,
Probably.
no, because it cuts off the spine.
Oh, so he has to
Because he
keep
does
his
have a
spine.
spine.
So he basically
Yeah,
could Sub-Zero freeze and decapitate him, and you'd be fine.
yeah, you can kill him. We cut off his head. Yeah, I mean, the big thing to note here is different Namekians have different generation too. As you saw, Mori just got shot in the chest and died.
True. He also sucked up 2 other Namekians, which probably juiced him up quite a good on the regeneration.
One of them was of the Dragon Clan.
One was the
So
Dragon Clan,
yes,
and the other was not the Dragon Clan, which means he's juiced up on 2 different clans of
well,
power.
he's technically part of 3 clans. He himself is a warrior hybrid. He came from a demon clan member, which is an offshoot of Namekian clandom. It's a unique class that can create their own people. Theoretically, he could do it if he wanted to, but he's also got part Dragon Clan in. So he's kind of like an all-in-one hybrid. He's just the everything burger.
And
But
I'm sure
Piccolo
all
is
that different combining has probably juiced his physiology abilities quite a bit.
I mean, it's keep in mind his potential, his latent potential, was even more than Demon King Piccolo's, who was considered to be a prodigy among prodigies.
Well, remember,
Now,
the Demon King Piccolo is also like a half a person.
right, so he's still a prodigy, but
Which
he's
a lot of
on
people
top of that.
have been saying they really want to see what the nameless Namekian those 2 came from was like.
Oh, I mean, they were able to depict it, which is basically he was cold and wanted to fight people who were strong. Simple. The big thing is we get to see Piccolo regain those powers on top of his own nails in some video games. Supersonic Warriors had you fused with Demon King Piccolo, and
Neato.
it got Piccolo to be as long as Super Boo.
Neato.
So there's that. And I mean, on top of all the extra training, because those power ups also give him boosts to his power boost. I'll give you an example. Piccolo fused with Nail. His immediate power boost put him on par with second form Frieza at full power, but he was faster, right?
Right.
After a year of relative training, not really preparing for anything, honestly, he was a little bit above Super Saiyan Goku when he was on Namek. That's pretty substantial. And that's alone. He trained alone. Piccolo has always had the best dividends for training when it comes to his base form. Like, what's a good example? It took until Super for anybody to match Piccolo's base form power.
Oh yeah.
Like, nobody touched him in their base form. Goku with Kaioken didn't touch him. Piccolo in his base form at the end of Dragon Ball Z had gotten to the power level of Fat Boo. 10 billion. Which is twice as powerful as Perfect Cell. And about 40% of a Super Saiyan 3. And Kid Buu. So Piccolo's a respectable character.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're giving him his dividends these days, and that is also Toyotaro.
Well, he
Now,
got
my
his
hope
own
here is,
movie. He was the main character of
oh,
Superhero.
yeah, he was one of them. I mean,
I
I think
mean,
it was a
Gohan
mixture of
really
him and
didn't show
Gohan.
up until towards the end, so it's like, yeah,
I
no,
mean,
go,
it was
go.
it was a lot of. I do hope 18 gets a little bit more love because 17 got a little. Be real, he got so much love.
Oh yeah.
18 deserves more love. Like
I mean,
she's,
18's been kind of like she was there at the beginning of Boo and got some decent screen time, and then she got some decent screen time in this Tournament of
but
Power.
she's a
But
comedy player.
I was gonna say like she's kind of been getting her screen time in pieces, but I do think she could use her own like major section, like her major
Well, I
moment.
mean, I at least want her to be able to come into like the realm that might be near her brother. She might not be nearly as powerful as him, but like, don't keep her at the same level of power she was at.
I mean, notably, this is a weird thing I noticed in Superhero. When, she came in with the cavalry, she kind of seemed like she was leading them to a certain extent. I was like, well, that was kind of neato.
Well, she's just, oh, that's just to
I think to a
dictate that
certain
she's
extent that's just
really,
because she's the strongest of the pile, but it was
but
like,
she's
to,
also commanding.
yeah. So I was like, well, that was an interesting bit. I was like, that could be an interesting dynamic.
I guess my point here is Toyotaro has shown there's a segment where we have a flashback to Bardock that's canon, right? We have
Yeah.
Bardock outside of the special, right? Which is really cool. And it deals with this is a stupid thing that I like. I need to just everybody needs to be warned about. I'm not going to give any context for it, so you don't know when it's coming. You don't know what it's going to look like. But like, it's dumb, right? It's really fucking stupid. And I don't know why they thought it was a good idea.
Bardock can never be 100% good. You should know that.
Bardock. Oh no, it wasn't that. The fight itself was great. Bardock made a wish with some Dragon Balls because every planet has Dragon Balls, I guess.
My God.
Well, any planet that has Namekians, I should say. And he wished that his sons would be blessed and grow up well in the future. Tell me what's wrong with that.
Only one of them did.
Only one of them's alive.
Also, that also kind of rubs me the wrong way because
Or
I feel like Goku that kind of robs a little bit of Goku's effort. That's like, oh no, he was blessed by Dragon Balls.
yeah, right, exactly. Like
Oh God, I just had this problem with Mash. I was watching Mash music, Magic of Muscles. Mash, he was this guy with no powers, and he punched, and he in a world full of magic. So he fought a bunch of people with magic by punching them, right?
Right.
And this is a spoiler. I'm gonna spoil something. Shh. So skip 5 minutes ahead, and we meet the villain. The villain shows up, and he's like, "I'm Mash's father." I'm like, motherfucker, Mash's whole thing was that he was absolutely no one special. And now he is. Motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean,
Naruto did that too towards the end too, where it was like, yeah, he had the demon, but let's face it, everybody in Naruto had some crazy special power. The demon was just slightly extra special. But then they're like, no, he was actually chosen. I was like, motherfucker.
I didn't mind the Minato half of it. Weirdly enough, I minded the Kushina aspect of it because it's the Uzumaki heritage that kind of robbed him. Because of like that's where his innumerable chakra was. Although to be fair, they did mitigate it somewhat by not giving him the extended lifespan of the Uzumaki clan or the sealing chain.
Oh, none of that bothers me because again, as I was just saying, like bloodline powers and special forbidden jutsus being inborn people, that's normal in the Naruto universe. The demon sealed in him is surprisingly, although very powerful, is also kind of weirdly normal.
I mean, to be fair,
the real problem is the whole Sage of the Six Paths thing, where he's like the descendant of like ninja super god. He's basically a demigod, and it's like motherfucker.
Well, he's not a demigod. Inherited some strong genes. The big thing here is it worked narratively. That didn't annoy me.
Well, no, it's like he was like he's the reincarnation. That's right, and so he was destined to do a lot of the stuff he did. And it's like motherfucker, destiny really. Not in Naruto, like one of the major things at the beginning in the original Naruto was when he was fighting Neji, and Neji's like, "We're slaves to destiny, we can't fight it." And Naruto's like, "No, hard work can overcome all. I'm great," and stuff like that. And then it turns out later, no, he was destined. Neji was right.
I mean, technically no, though. Like narratively speaking, Naruto still had to apply effort to attain any type of destiny. if he didn't, he wouldn't have gotten it, right?
Would he have?
So we can still attest that, yeah, no, he would not have. He would have been overtaken and killed.
I don't know. It's hard
That's
to
that's
tell.
just well,
Well, that's
that's
the
a
thing
fact.
about
It's a
Destiny.
popular
It's
statement.
like, were you destined to do 10,000 push-ups and become the strongest person in the world, or did you do that on your own?
That's stupid. You choose
that
to do what you want to do.
I know. Well, that's the problem with narrative. It's like in the real world you can say that. In Narutoverse, can you really say that? Can you say that
Yes,
all of his hard work wasn't actually
yes,
destiny?
yes. You know
I
why?
don't
Because he didn't do it initially.
know.
So
Okay,
obviously
well,
he made
what
a
if his
choice to change.
laziness was the him, but then Destiny took over and made him a hard worker? How's that?
I mean, that's a theoretical that you'd have to prove, but the law of
I don't know.
averages dictates that he's changed enough that it's
The
interesting.
fact that
Either way,
the fact that you added Destiny to the mix is what allows me to question this and makes it a problem.
I understand it from the Bardock thing perspective, but this one not as much. I
I don't
did
know.
not enjoy the final fourth war arc, mind you. I think the ending of it was really nice with that final battle. Just the animation's really good. Um, but if I were to have ended Naruto as a series, I would have given him his epilogue after the pain arc, or I would have just finished off the. I would have just finished off the Akatsuki
Fair enough.
and finished off the pain arc there.
Um, I do have another episode I want to do, and this does involve kind of the subject we were doing previously, but like I do want to start another episode, so I think we should end it here because we are starting to go
Gotcha.
into other subjects. But that's kind of what I want to do with the second episode. I'll explain when we get to the second episode. So we're gonna cut it here.
Yart.
So I hope y'all had fun.
Oh, I mean, the
I
big
mean,
thing here is rip
yeah, rip.
to a legend.
Oh, we'll be talking more about
Somebody
that in
who,
the next episode too. But
yeah,
I'll get into what I mean next episode. I don't want to
gotcha.
spoil anything. I gotta keep it interesting. So see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.